Hi, my beautiful souls. I'm Ella, and in today's reading, we'll be checking out your childhood and any kind of karma or something that you're bringing to the present moment that is affecting your life. So, today we have three options. Go ahead and pick one pile. I do apologize if you hear any kind of background noise because it's really, really windy outside today. And then, if you're ready, we'll start. So, pile number one. Who were you as a kid? What I see here is you were someone that paid so much attention to the surroundings and the people around you. You were more in the quiet side, and you also captured every little difference in someone's humor, in someone's expression. You were very, very aware of the things that adults try to hide from kids. You knew what was going on behind smiles, and you were very connected with emotions. Your intuition was crazy heightened, and you were highly intelligent in that sense. You noticed things that kids shouldn't, about life, about their parents, about how the interactions work between the family. And because you were so aware, and we will talk about your family just in a second, but you somehow felt that your problems and your emotions and you expressing yourself to others and telling them, hey, I have a problem with this, or I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling frustrated, or anything that has to do with expressing your emotions. You felt that doing that would be a burden or add to more problem to probably your mother. And so you hid your own emotions and your thoughts, and you kept everything to yourself. So you were very careful and hyper aware of everything that was going on around you and with other people, especially with your mother, because you sympathized with her and her role and what she went through. And at the same time, you kept everything that it was about yourself to yourself. Now, regarding to your family life and your environment, what I see here, you probably have a brother, someone older than you, but it was not neither of your parents. But you were also living with your mother, and she was kind of like, what I see here is your parents either divorced or they broke up, depending on their situation. And what I see here is you stayed with your mother, and she had to take the role of a mother and the father at the same time, and she was mostly focused on going to work to be able to pay for everything. I don't see that there was any kind of lack in terms of money here, but I do see there was lack in the emotional side that you needed as a kid, because your mother was so focused on what she had to do, because she had to do everything and take care of the house and work, and and she was so exhausted. You noticed this as well. That's why you don't even blame her for not giving you what you needed emotionally wise. And regarding your father, I believe that he was not as present as he should. In the beginning, he might have tried to keep contact with you, but then he stopped talking to you, basically, or having any connection or creating any connection with you as a father should. So the relationship between your mother and your father, what you witnessed the most, was nothing. There was no relationship. So yeah. Now what I see here is, in your social life or the life outside of your house, I see there was a mother-like figure very important to you. It could be a grandma, or it can be like a teacher or a neighbor, but I do believe it is most likely some kind of like teacher. And she gave you what you lacked from your mother. So that emotional side and reassurance and safety, and talking to you when you're sad and asking you, is everything okay? You need anything, those kinds of things. This person was really important to you and had an impact. Now, regarding the relationship you had with your mother. So as we talked before, there was a lack on the emotional side and emotional reassurance you needed as a kid. But your relationship now is based on communication. So you are most likely to talk to her, and she probably talks to you about like everything, and she probably did tell you all her problems she had and all the things she had to went through now as you grow up, because the communication improved the moment you became like a teenager and you had the maturity to understand certain things, and you start talking to her and she starts venting out for you or to you. And so yes, your relationship is really based on communication, but you still hide some parts of you and hide some parts of how you feel and what you think about certain things. So you still have some of that energy you had as a child, although your mother now talks to you about basically everything about her and how she feels. And now regarding to your father, I believe that maybe when you were a child, like a baby, your parents were still together, so there was some kind of still conversation or presence even when they like broke up. But then it got to a point where things simply stopped happening and he created distance. Like he stopped looking for you and trying to communicate with you. So he was a very absent father. So, what you needed as a child, but you lacked. I see here that you needed a father figure. You needed that sense of groundness, of structure, of stability, protection. You needed, because your mother, yes, she did everything she could, but one person can't ever make the job that is supposed to be made by two people, okay? So she did her best, but you needed a father figure, okay? You needed a man that would provide for the family and for you, that would support you, that would be there for you. And this is exactly what is affecting your life right now. So I see here that what you brought from your childhood to the present moment was the relationship that happened between your father and your mother, and also the relationship you had or didn't have with your father. So this will be represented by your relationships, like love relationships, love partnerships. There's two situations here happening. Either you broke up with someone recently and you're in a moment of resting, but you crave love, you crave attention. You're probably the type of person that gets attached quite easily to the other person because you're looking for the attention and love that you never had from your father, that validation, And the other situation is that you haven't found anyone and you're feeling a bit desperate because of it, because you just crave so much to be loved, and you're kind of like projecting that onto love relationships instead of understanding that that is actually coming from the wound that you have related to your father. So the limiting belief here is you believe that you're not worthy enough or that you're not lovable enough, because as a kid, when you have an absent parent, what goes through your unconscious mind is that I'm not worthy enough. And that's why my dad doesn't want me near. That's why my dad doesn't want to talk to me. He doesn't want to create a connection with me. And that's my fault. And that's why the belief here is probably related to your worth, your self-worth, and the fact that maybe unconsciously you believe that you're not lovable. And so you will constantly attract people that will remind you of that will make you feel like you are not lovable. They will not give you what you want. Like I see you here awake at night, like laying in your bed and thinking about this, thinking about no one loves me, or I'm not good enough to be loved. And instead of focusing on that victim mindset, maybe it's time to use that specific time, like when you're laying down, to actually start looking into the limiting beliefs that you have about yourself, and understanding that it's not that no one loves you, it's simply that the people that you are attracting right now are not capable of showing you love, because you need someone to show you that you have a limiting belief about yourself that is related to your father, and probably, I'm not sure if the mother is also involved because she didn't give you the emotional reassurance you needed, but it is reminding you that you have a wound there. You have a limiting belief that you need to let go of because it doesn't belong to you. It doesn't make any sense. You are loved. You are loved. I don't know if you know this, but the frequency of existence is love. If you weren't loved, you wouldn't exist. So you exist, you are loved. The advice here is very clear. You gotta look into your system belief. If you want to understand more, I would advise you to go watch some videos of Bashar about this. Just go with life and celebrate the small things you have. Instead of focusing on the lack, focus on what you already have and what you already can do. So, this is all I got for you. Thank you for watching and wishing you a great day. So, my pile number 2. Who were you as a kid? What I see here is you were someone that had a sharp mind. Okay, you were very intelligent. You used your words quite often and sometimes in an immature way. Well, you were a kid, right? And sometimes you would just say whatever you think about people or situations, and that could harm people without you even noticing, or you did it on purpose because you were frustrated or angry with something or someone and you just projected that on them, and so you would speak in a harsh way to them. And you had this fire in you, like you wouldn't just content yourself with whatever you had if it was not enough for you. So based on your environment and family life, what I see here is I don't think your parents were together at all. I think if you stayed with your mother, that I doubt. What is happening here for me the most, what is appearing to the most to me, is you were probably either with a grandpa figure, or you were in an institution or living in a neighborhood where people worked together and people helped each other. But it was like it could be even an orphanage, to be honest. But there was not much money. Like you could be poor or just had enough money for whatever you needed. And what I see here is that your mother was way too focused on her relationships with men, and so there are cases where she probably left you to go live with this man, or and your father, I believe that he didn't want to take responsibility for you, or he thought he didn't have enough to take care of you, so he left you with this grandpa figure or with this institution. It could be related to religion as well, because in your social environment, what I see here is like people sharing what they had. It could be not much, but people would share, like, so it was a very closed community, and they had values, certain honorable values. Now, how was your relationship with your mother? I don't think there was a relationship with your mother. I think maybe you believe that she would come back one day, or you were just waiting for her attention, and because she was so focused on other things. And related to your father, what I see here is he probably promised lots of things to you. He promised to come back. He promised to be more present and whatever, but he didn't honor that promises. He broke the promise, and because of that, you really felt it, and it's like your expectations not being reached. Now, what I see here that you needed as a kid, but you lacked, is groundedness. You lacked roots. You needed a family that would create this structure for you, that would help you guide and not just stay in the dark, because you probably felt this instability or this lack of knowledge, like, where are my parents? Are they gonna come back for me? Am I going to have a relationship with them? Am I ever going to have like a family? So you really did need these roots to help you ground yourself and to help you know who you were, because our parents and the relationship we have with them tells a lot as kids, I mean, tells a lot, then will predict a lot who are we becoming as adults. So, what karma did you bring from your childhood to the present moment and that is influencing your life right now? What I see here is you're probably working a lot and you focus too much on perfection, like perfecting yourself and perfecting whatever you do, because you believe if you work hard enough, you will be loved someday. Because if you work hard enough, people won't just abandon you, people will recognize you, people will give you the value you need or you think that you deserve. And so you're working yourself so hard and you're probably projecting this void and this lack of stability and love that you did not receive as a kid from your parents. You're projecting that on money and work and believing that, because technically money is correlated to your self-worth and self-value. It's like an expression of what you think you truly deserve and how valuable you think you are. And so you're projecting that on money and you think, if I work really hard, then I might be able to someday have a person with me and have my happy ending and people will like me truly. But that's not actually how it works. And so there's this belief in you, exactly this one, that if I don't have money, people won't like me. And so I have to work really hard. I have to fight and fight and fight, even if you're not getting the results you wanted related to work or money. You're like, no, I have to go and fight because that's how it works. I have to work so hard to get money. And once I get it, people will be with me, people will like me. And that's not true at all. So what you need to understand here is that if you want to be loved, first you gotta love yourself. And how do you do that? You accept yourself and you be yourself. It's like, I'm this person, I am who I am, okay? And just because I exist, I'm lovable. I am love. The right people will love me. And if the others don't, then they are not my people. And that's okay. You don't like everyone, do you? So, and I think you should also focus on doing something that you're passionate about instead of doing something for money, because doing something for money will not get you money in your case specifically, and doing something that you love to do will bring you the abundance you need, because it will bring you the fulfillment you need. It will guide you to the path of victory, of abundance, of success. That's what you should do and how you should heal it. Like, yes, be determined and use that action energy and fire energy, but direct it to the right direction, to the right path. Don't do it because you want people to love you or because you feel like if you don't work this hard, if you don't gain this money, you're not worthy. You gotta work on these beliefs because they are not true at all. And instead of it, use your sharp mind and your fire energy to do what you love to do and to do what you know you're good at instead of what drains you the most, and instead of trying to be perfect in everything you do. Don't go for perfect, because perfect will lead you to not doing anything. Or you will be so focused on the details that you will lose the whole vision, It's about doing and doing instead of perfecting and perfecting. Because imagine, as a kid, we believe that if our parents don't love us or don't pay attention to us or are not present, we as kids can only blame ourselves. So we believe that it's our fault. It's because I'm not worthy. It's because I'm not lovable. It's because I'm not enough. And these beliefs stick with us, or better, we hold on to those beliefs. Instead of actually understanding that the actions of our parents has nothing to do with us. They had their own lives and they were focused on the wrong things, because once you have a child, you should be focused on the child, right? And on taking care. You're going to you have a responsibility towards a human being that you need to, raise. And so it's about you understanding this, that would happen, and the way you see life right now, and the way you want to be loved and perceived. It's all to do with your past, and using your intelligence to rethink and have a new way of seeing yourself. Remember that you will only get what you want once you don't crave it anymore. So if you want love, and if you want attention, and if you want people to see how worthy you are, you gotta believe in that yourself first, because then you won't crave it anymore from others, because you already know you are, and that's enough for you. And then, yes, people will recognize you, and people will love you for who you are, and not for what you have and what you've accomplished. Because once you don't have it, money is the thing. Some people believe that having money is having everything. And maybe while you have money, yes, but you also have to understand that money can disappear out of nowhere. And then what are you worth, Because some people actually believe I'm worth because I'm rich. And then if you have no money, then you're not worthy. Change the way you see yourself and your own value, and this will change your life completely. So this is all I got for you. Thank you for watching, and wishing you a great day. So for my pile 3, who were you as a kid? So what I see here is you were someone very connected with your mind, and I do believe that you escaped your reality that you didn't like. You went to like the dream world, or you would like go to your imagination and use it to bring yourself this comfort, this calmness, that the outside couldn't bring you. I believe that maybe you also like those kinds of fairy tale movies or books, because they had this magic that you just didn't see where you lived, in your environment, in your family life, in your daily life, when you watched other people, and even how they interact with you. Regarding your family life, what I see here is your parents were so focused on money, on work, it was this energy like, I have to work a lot to gain money. I have to work a lot to gain money. And it was not like abundantly. It was money to eat, to pay bills, and they were so focused on this that the emotional side lacked so much. They were probably very immature emotionally speaking, and you really felt this for you as a child. This emotional support and reassurance is so important, and you didn't have. Maybe when you tried to speak and talk to them about your own problems and how you felt, they didn't know how to deal with you, and they were very immature. They maybe sometimes when you would like complain about something, they would tell you to shut up or to go do your own things, and because they were so worried and focused and exhausted with money and work, they couldn't give you that emotional side that you needed. They didn't validate your emotions because they didn't even know how to do it. They were so focused on themselves. They wouldn't even validate their own emotions. I do believe they kept most of how they felt to each other. They wouldn't even talk about it with themselves, like between them, the two of them, your parents. So I do believe that this had an impact on you, because the theme of money and work was so present in a negative way, because it was about lack, it was about exhaustion, and this really helped you create these new limiting beliefs to yourself and hold on to it, So we will talk about that just in a second. I do believe that the relationship between them was way too focused on money. It's like they probably got married, then they created their family, and then they were their focus was so just on their own job and gaining money that they forgot the emotional side, and they forgot that they were supposed to like love each other and express that out loud. And what I see here is we have two scenarios. Either you stayed awake at night because you would listen to them like argue between them. They would like spend hours of their sleep just thinking about that idea that they had about like happiness is having lots of money and being in abundance and not having to worry or work with something that exhausts, that brings them exhaustion, that makes them feel this tired and like they're fighting against the tide. And I don't believe that between them there was any kind of like emotional connection, or at least that you would notice or witness, because they were so focused on themselves and the job and the money, and they didn't even, it's like they didn't even have time to think about it. Now, I do believe there was some kind of change in the environment. I do believe that maybe you guys traveled or moved cities or even country. Regarding the relationship you had with your mother and maybe even have, um, what I see here is it was something very, she could be like religious, or she could be really firm on her own values and her own beliefs, and she was so focused on gaining money to survive, gaining money to pay the bills. That was her focus. And she has this grounded energy, like practical almost, there's not even space or openness to be a bit emotional or a bit more mentally opened, because she was just like, I have to do this, I have to do that, and then she went and would do it. She also could be the parent that was more authoritative, from what I see here. Like her presence was, it's like the whole house would work around her in a way. Like she would like command everyone, or I don't know how to say it, but it's basically she would like give you tasks or things to do, and she would organize things, and she would be like the one that takes care of everything, basically like the house, you, and also money, like go out to work. And she could also be a bit like rigid or firm in her ideas, but she was also a source of knowledge. I believe that maybe when you needed something, some advice that was not like emotionally directed, she would like help you and guide you and tell you, oh, you should do this, you should do that, because she had some knowledge in some area that could help you. Regarding to your father relationship and the relationship you had with him, that's what I mean, is what I see here is he was a person that you you maybe perceive him as someone that was stuck maybe in this like marriage or in this situation. I do see that his focus was way more on making money, not only because you needed money to survive, that was not his focus. His focus was way more about recognition, because I do feel that maybe there was a lack of recognition, or your mother didn't admire him, and this just touches his own wounds. And what I see here is he was the type of person that you couldn't even try to like talk to him. It's like you're talking to a wall, you know? Because he wouldn't even understand. Like it's not like he doesn't want to. It's his mind wouldn't understand what you're trying to say, or more like deep conversations. So he was a figure that was more like distant in a way. You couldn't create like a connection with him, like a real connection with him, because he was also so focused on maybe succeeding and people like recognizing his worth and his value, self-value. So there was no space here for you to like be yourself and ask for guidance and ask for a bit of connection. And, you know, he couldn't give you even if he wanted to. That's the feeling that I have. Now, what you needed as a kid but lacked, what I see here is there was a lack of communication, especially about your feelings, your emotions, even like your parents showing you like their own emotions and talking about it, and you doing the same. This did not exist, and this was really important to you as a kid. For you, it was way, of course, you were a kid, but it was way more important, like a family that was happy because they were simply together, you know, rather than a family that has lots of money. It's like, you know, those poor families that they don't even have enough money to eat properly. Uh, but at the same time, they are so together. They like themselves so much. It's like there's this connection. And I believe that you needed that. And that was what lacked for you. And this had a great impact on who you became, who you are right now, and what you believe on. So the childhood karma that I see that you brought to the present moment, that is impacting you, I see that are limiting beliefs related to family, happiness, and money. There's a connection here that was made because of what you've witnessed and how exhausted and how hard your parents' life was, that it made you um, believe, for an example, that for you need to have money to be happy, or you need to be really abundant and rich, so then you can have, like, you won't worry about having to pay bills, and so you won't be like your mother or your father, and you will have a different family life. But that's not exactly the point. Like, of course, money helps with that, that's obvious for everyone, but that doesn't mean that you will have a happy family that you didn't have just because you have the money you need, you know. um, what I see here is you want to walk away from that house, that family, that context, that environment, and that kind of mentality. But at the same time, it's like, I want to go travel and go on my new path for myself and for my future self. But you're still carrying those bags, you're still carrying those beliefs. This will slow the process, and this will not let you get where you want to be or to get, you know? Because listen, there's so much potential here for you to become abundant and rich and whatever you wish, like you creating your own empire basically. But this will only happen once you've let go of beliefs that are not aligned with that version of yourself. You got to understand this. This is really important. Like, I see you are the type of person that is going to end some karmic cycles in your family, that is here to maybe be the first wealthy family member of your family, you know? But you do really need to let go of it, because those beliefs that your parents had didn't help them, did they? So, you know, just go. I would advise you to go search on the internet, search for Bashar and limiting beliefs or belief system. He will tell you exactly how it works and how to let go of it. It's really important for you to go watch it, okay? There might be a belief that it's like, if I have enough money, if I have the money that is beyond my necessities, then I will have a happy life. I will have a happy family. I will be able to then, only then, connect emotionally with the people around me. And, or maybe there is a belief that it's like, if I work hard, even if it's something that I don't like to do, that is going to give me the money that I need. And that's not correct. There is this misunderstanding towards this subject. Actually, you should follow your passion, and that will bring you abundance. And remember, being abundant is having what you need to have when you need to have it. We are so abundant in so many different ways, and money is just one way of expressing it. So let's not focus specifically on money, okay? And I do believe that for yourself, it's way more important to be abundant emotionally, like feeling fulfilled, than having tons and tons of money, you know? Like, not that you couldn't have the both of them, of course you can, you know, but I'm just saying that your focus shouldn't be on making money and being rich. Your focus should be on living your life and following your passion. That will lead you to the path that you want, to the future that you wish to have. And so the way, how can you heal this, right? What they are telling me here is you got to deal with your shadow side. You got to deal with your unconscious beliefs. As I said before, please go check on Bashar teachings about this, because here you seriously need a shift on your mindsets. And especially if you believe that you need to work really, really hard and get exhausted as long as you get the money that you want. Like, no, that's not your path, okay? And that's okay. Like, it doesn't mean that you won't be abundant. That's not true at all. Most people don't realize that you will become way more abundant and even rich if you follow your passion. So that's the advice here for you, really. Just go deep in yourself, into your belief system, and work with it. So this is all I got for you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.